What is up, everybody? JT Dangerously here once again. I am here to do my official 2022 NBA playoffs first round predictions. Now, with the NBA regular season in the books, we are now into my favorite part of the NBA season and where it really matters the most, the NBA playoffs. And the road to the NBA Finals starts now, and it starts right here in the first round. So I am extremely excited to do my first round predictions in the 2022 NBA playoffs for you guys this year, and I hope you guys do enjoy. Now, our record last year was fantastic. We went 9-6, and our overall NBA playoff record on the channel is 58-18. So we're coming in extremely hot, and I'm looking to keep it that way. So hoping this video we will continue the winning ways. We're on a 5-year winning streak. Hoping this video we make it to Jordan 6 and make it 6 years in a row. Hopefully. Now, this is the first video of a combined 2-video day on the channel today and this week, guys. So hope you guys will be able to watch this video and all the fantastic videos we got on deck on the channel in the month of April this year. And as always, show your support on the channel as always, guys, by watching these videos, super kicking those like buttons, hitting that notification bell, and commenting your picks, your opinions, and representing your NBA teams in the comment sections down below. Now, if this is your first time watching my channel today, guys, as a first-time viewer and this is your first video, boy, big to go. And if you're a huge fan of the NBA like myself and you're ready for the first round of the 2022 NBA playoffs, welcome to the Dangerous Alliance. I'm JT Dangerously. Welcome to the club, because this club is just two. Woo woo! Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into my first round predictions. Let's start off in the Eastern Conference with the #1 seed in the East this year, the team that had the best record in the East, the Miami Heat, facing either the Brooklyn Nets, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Atlanta Hawks, or the Charlotte Hornets. Now, starting off with the Miami Heat first, they are coming off their 4-game sweep last year by the eventual NBA champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Heat are back in the playoffs, looking to make another deep run into the postseason, and they're looking to punch their ticket to the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time since that magical season back in 2020. Now, I am pretty surprised that the Miami Heat were the best team in the East with the best record in the East and being the #1 seed in the East, because I really thought it was going to be either the Bucks, the Sixers, or the Celtics. So Miami's already proven me wrong already, and this Heat squad can definitely get it done and make a deep run with players like Kyrie Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Bama Debayo, Tyler Hero, and PJ Tucker. There is side you have the winner of the play-in tournament that will happen this week, and if you're asking me who I think will be the 8th seed this year in the East, it's either going to be two teams, the Cleveland Cavaliers or Trae Young's Atlanta Hawks. One of those two teams will be the 8th seed in my opinion. But whoever wins that has got a daunting task to try to knock off the #1 team in the Eastern Conference. So coming from me in this Eastern Conference first round showdown to see who will advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals, I can see this series going 5, maybe 6, maybe even a 4-game sweep. But coming from me, I'm going to go with the Miami Heat to get it done and advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time in over 2 years and defeat whoever is the 8th seed. And now the next first round matchup, and this one I think is going to be an absolute banger between the Philadelphia 76ers facing the Toronto Raptors. Now, this is the 3rd meeting in the playoffs between the Sixers and the Raptors. The series is tied 1-1. Now, the Raptors' last series win over the Sixers happened all the way back in the 2019 Eastern Conference semifinals, and the Sixers' last victory over the Raptors in the playoffs happened in the 2001 Eastern Conference semifinals. Now, starting off with the Sixers first, they are coming off their heartbreaking loss last year in the playoffs to the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference semifinals in 7 games. And that Sixers team last year should have been in the NBA championship, in my opinion. But if it wasn't for Ben Simmons, the Sixers would have held an NBA championship. They were looking to win an NBA title. But going into this season, the Sixers made some drastic changes, including getting rid of Ben Simmons, trading him to Brooklyn, and bringing in James Harden. So now we're going to see if James Harden's postseason run could be better than his postseason runs back in Houston. But this is definitely win or bust for Doc Rivers, because if the Sixers don't win an NBA championship this year, I would not be surprised Doc Rivers is out of Philly going into next season. But this Sixers team has got the team that can get it done with James Harden, with DeAndre Jordan, the man who I know is going to win the MVP this year, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Danny Green, and Matisse Thybulle. There is how you have the Toronto Raptors making their return back to the playoffs for the first time in over 2 years, and the Raptors squad is looking to punch their ticket back to the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time since 2020. Now, this Raptors squad can definitely get it done with players like Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., OJ Newboy, Scotty Barnes, and Pascal Siakam, a.k.a. Peace Spice. So coming from me in this Eastern Conference first round banger to see who will advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals, This is such a tough pick. This is definitely 50-50 for me. And I can see this series going 6, possibly 7. But coming from me, I may get this one wrong, but I'm going to go with Joel Embiid, James Harden, DeAndre Jordan, Doc Rivers, and the Philadelphia 76ers to get it done and punch their ticket back to the Eastern Conference Semifinals for the second consecutive year and defeat the Toronto Raptors in an Eastern Conference first-round banger. And now the next first-round matchup between the reigning and defending Eastern Conference champions as well as the reigning and defending NBA champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, facing the Chicago Bulls. Now this is the 5th meeting in the playoffs between the Bulls and the Milwaukee Bucks. The series is tied 2-2. Now the Bulls' last victory over the Bucks in the playoffs happened all the way back in the 2015 Eastern Conference first round, and the Bucks' last series victory over the Bulls, you have to go all the way back to the 1985 Eastern Conference first round. Now starting off with the reigning Eastern Conference and NBA champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, they are coming off winning their second NBA championship in franchise history, and the Bucks are now looking to become the first team in the Eastern Conference since the Miami Heat to repeat as the NBA champions. And this Bucks team really didn't change much to their team. They're still the same team that won it last year with players like Drew Holiday, Serge Ibaka, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, the Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Wesley Matthews, and Grayson Allen. There inside you have the Chicago Bulls making their return back to the playoffs for the first time since 2017. So Bulls fans have been waiting 5 long years to see their team back in the playoffs. And personally, as a longtime NBA fan, I am so happy to see the Bulls back in the playoffs. I mean, this was a team I started falling in love with back in the 90s with Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Kerr, Phil Jackson. I'm just happy to see this franchise back in the playoffs. And I know some great longtime friends like Gamers Goon and JT, just the elitists, who are diehard Bulls fans, got to be happy their team is back in the playoffs. And they are looking to advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time in 7 years. Now, this Bulls team can definitely beat a lot of good teams in the playoffs, but I feel like they got the worst draw in the first round, facing off against the reigning NBA champions. But this Bulls team can definitely get it done with players like Alex Caruso, Zach LaVine, who I wish would be in those dunk contests because Zach LaVine is the best dunker I've seen in a long time. DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vujacic, Ayo Dosunmu, the second-round rookie standout out of Illinois that the Bulls drafted, Tristan Thompson and Patrick Williams. So coming from me in this Eastern Conference first-round showdown to see who will advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals, if this was any other team in the playoffs playing the Bulls, I would have picked the Bulls hands down. But this matchup does not favor the Bulls at all. I see this series going 5, maybe 6, but coming from me, I'm going to go with Giannis Antetokounmpo and the reigning NBA champs, the Milwaukee Bucks, to get it done and defeat the Chicago Bulls and advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals for the 2nd year in a row. And now the final Eastern Conference first-round showdown between the Boston Celtics facing either the Brooklyn Nets or the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now the Celtics are coming off their loss last year to the Brooklyn Nets in the first round, and the Celtics are back in the playoffs looking to punch their ticket to the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time since 2020. Now this Celtics team definitely turned out to be the best defensive team in the NBA this season, and I don't think anybody thought the Celtics would have this kind of season this year. I mean, I thought it was going to be the Sixers and the Bucks, but I don't think the Celtics were not. I don't think the Celtics were looked as a threat. But being the best defensive team in the NBA this season, they are a huge threat to make another deep run into the postseason and quite possibly bring another championship to the city of Boston. You got some great players on this team, like Marcus Smart, like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Grant Williams. There inside you have the winner of the play-in matchup between the Brooklyn Nets and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Whoever wins that will be the 7th seed. And if you're asking me who I think will be the 7th seed, it's going to be the Brooklyn Nets. It's going to be a rematch of last year between the Nets and the Celtics. And I just think the Brooklyn Nets should win that game and be the 7th seed. But I would say Brooklyn does have a good chance of possibly knocking off the Celtics in this first round showdown. I mean, you got Kevin Durant, you got Kyrie Irving, you got hopefully Ben Simmons will be for them. You got so many great players on that team. So I think the Nets will win the 7th seed, and I think the Brooklyn Nets can give Boston a run for their money. So coming from me in this final Eastern Conference first round showdown to see who will advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals, I can see this series going 6. If it's the Nets, it's going to go 6. If it's the Cavs, I can see it going 5, maybe a 4-game sweep. But coming from me, I am going to go with Marcus Smart and the Boston Celtics to get it done here and defeat the Brooklyn Nets and advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time in 2 years. And now on to the Western Conference. Starting off with the #1 seed in the West, the team that had the best record and home field advantage throughout the NBA playoffs, and they are the reigning and defending Western Conference champions, the Phoenix Suns, facing either the Los Angeles Clippers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the New Orleans Pelicans, or the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the Suns last year were the talk of the NBA playoffs. I mean, nobody thought the Phoenix Suns would make it all the way to the NBA Finals last year, and they proved a lot of people wrong in a losing effort to the Milwaukee Bucks, but this Phoenix Suns team is good. I mean, they had over 60-plus wins in the regular season. When you get 60-plus wins, you have to win the NBA championship. And when you got players like Devin Booker, who stood out big time in last year's NBA Finals, you got Jay Crowder, DeAndre Anton, Mikal Bridges, Cameron Payne, and the veteran Chris Paul. This Suns team, in my opinion, is the strong favorite to make it back to the NBA Finals and possibly win an NBA title for the city of Phoenix. Their side, you have the winner of either the Los Angeles Clippers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the San Antonio Spurs play-in game. And if you're asking me who I think will be the 8th seed, it's either going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves, which, again, that would be so good to see the Timberwolves back in the playoffs as a longtime NBA fan, or either the San Antonio Spurs or the New Orleans Pelicans. I think one of those three teams could be the 8th seed, and they're going to have a very daunting task to try to knock off the best team in the West, the team that had the best has home field advantage throughout the NBA playoffs. So coming from me in this Western Conference first round showdown to see who will advance to the Western Conference semifinals, I can see this series going 5, maybe 6, but coming from me, I'm going to go with Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and the Phoenix Suns to get it done here and advance to the Western Conference semifinals for the 2nd consecutive season and defeat whoever is the 8th seed. And now the next first round matchup between the Dallas Mavericks facing the Utah Jazz. Now the Dallas Mavericks are back in the playoffs after falling short in 7 games in the first round last year to the Los Angeles Clippers. And the Mavs are looking to end a long losing streak in the first round, because here is an NBA playoff dangerous fact. Since the last Dallas Mavericks victory in the first round all the way back in 2011, the Mavs are winless in the first round. They are 0-6. So the Mavs are desperately looking to end that long losing streak in the first round, and they're looking to punch their ticket to the Western Conference semifinals for the first time since their last NBA championship run back in 2011. Now, this Mavs team can get it done. I mean, they got the team that can get it done with players like Luka Doncic, who right now is a question mark after getting hurt in the season finale last night. You got Jalen Brunson, Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Dwight Powell. But the big question coming in for the Mavs is, will Luka Doncic be ready to go for this first round showdown? There is idea of the Utah Jazz coming off their loss in the conference semifinals last year to the same Los Angeles Clippers, and the Jazz are looking to advance to the Western Conference semifinals for the 2nd year in a row. Now, this Jazz team is also a pretty damn good team with players like Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Rudy Gobert, Royce O'Neal, and Rudy Gay. But it always seems like the Jazz always and the Jazz's playoff hopes always end in heartbreak. I mean, that including last year, a lot of people thought the Jazz were going to win that series, and now the Jazz are looking to finally get it done here and advance to the Western Conference semis. So coming from me in this Western Conference first round showdown to see who will advance to the Western Conference semifinals, if I knew that the Dallas Mavericks haven't won a first round match in the playoffs since 2011, I would have had Dallas winning this series. But I see the series going 5, maybe 6. But coming from me, I am going to go with Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and the Utah Jazz to get it done and defeat the Dallas Mavericks and advance to the Western Conference semifinals for the 2nd year in a row. And now the next first round matchup between the Golden State Warriors facing the Denver Nuggets. Now this is only the 2nd meeting in the playoffs between the Nuggets and the Warriors. The Warriors won the last playoff meeting over the Nuggets all the way back in the 2013 Western Conference first round. So the Nuggets have not beaten the Warriors in the playoffs in 9 years. Now starting off with the Warriors are back in the NBA playoffs for the first time since 2019. And the Warriors are looking to punch their ticket back to the Western Conference semifinals for the first time in 3 years. Now, it's crazy to think we haven't seen the Warriors in the playoffs in over 3 years. And I am happy to see the Warriors back. Steve Kerr once again got this team back to playoff form with players like Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, who is still injured, but if he comes back, you better look out. Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Otto Porter Jr. They're excited of the Denver Nuggets coming off their loss in the conference semifinals last year to the Phoenix Suns, and the Nuggets are looking to punch their ticket back to the Western Conference semifinals for the second year in a row. Now, this Nuggets team is good, but they always seem to lose to a better team in the Western Conference, especially in the playoffs. Even though they got great players like Monty Morris, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, who I want to see back in the slam dunk contest, Jeff Green, Nikola Jokic, the Joker, and DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie Cousins. But this Nuggets team is looking to show that they are a threat in the Western Conference, especially in the playoffs, and they're looking to make a road to the NBA championship. So coming from me in this Western Conference first round showdown to see who will advance to the Western Conference semifinals. Oh boy, this one's going to be good. Nikola Jokic versus Klay Thompson and Draymond. This one's going to be good. But if Stephen Curry comes back, you better look out for the Warriors as a threat in the Western Conference and quite possibly making the Western Conference Finals this year. So coming from me, I'm going to go with Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, Steve Kerr, and the Golden State Warriors to get it done here and defeat the Denver Nuggets in 5, possibly 6 games and advance back to the Western Conference semifinals for the first time in 3 years. And now the final Western Conference first round showdown between the Memphis Grizzlies facing either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Los Angeles Clippers. Now starting off with the Grizzlies are coming off their loss last year in the first round to the Utah Jazz, and the Grizzlies are looking to advance to the Western Conference semifinals for the first time in over 7 years. Now this Grizzlies team had an amazing regular season, become the 2 seed in the playoffs. And I would not be shocked if the Grizzlies make a deep run. I mean, you got some great players like Ja Morant, who came back last night for the Grizzlies, even in a loss to the Boston Celtics. He's back for them. Desmond Barnes, Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams, and Jared Jackson Jr. They're excited to have the winner of the play-in tournament this week between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, if you're asking me who I think will be the 7th seed, I think it is going to be the Los Angeles Clippers. I think there can be a really big threat in the NBA playoffs this year. But I would not be surprised if the Timberwolves get this spot as well. But for me, I am picking the Clippers to win. And the Clippers are looking to play spoiler and punch their ticket to the Western Conference semifinals for the 2nd year in a row. So coming from me in this final Western Conference first round showdown to see who will advance to the Western Conference semifinals. This one's a tough one. I can see this series going 6, maybe 7, but coming from me, I am going to go with the winner of that play-in tournament between Minnesota and the Los Angeles Clippers to win this series and defeat the Memphis Grizzlies in a first-round upset. And those are my 2022 NBA playoffs first-round predictions. Now, I want to thank you guys so very much for watching this video today. Comment below. Who do you see winning these first-round matchups in the 2022 NBA playoffs? Do you see any upsets happening? Do you see any dark horses making a deep run into the playoffs this year? And let me know. Who is your top 2 teams that you think will make it to the NBA Finals? For me, in the East, it's going to be the Milwaukee Bucks. And in the West, I would not be surprised the Phoenix Suns and we get a finals rematch. So let me know what you guys think. And as always, represent your NBA teams in the comments section. Even if they had a rough year in the NBA this year, still represent them. Let's have a conversation about it. Of course, I'm always on to see your comment, like it, and of course reply right back to you because comments and your opinions are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching my first round predictions of the 2022 NBA playoffs. Now, before you guys go, as always, you guys can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. Of course, you guys can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button become part of this bigger and dangerous alliance. We're officially 1,000 subscribers strong. So again, thank you guys so very much for all the support. And if you guys are not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you guys waiting for? If you're a fan of professional wrestling when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling, All Elite Wrestling, Ring of Honor Wrestling, and the WWE, and you're a fan of professional sports when it comes to the NBA, Major League Baseball, the NFL, college football, and the NHL, super kick that subscribe button, folks. It's free and you become part of this bigger, dangerous alliance. And I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow or Wednesday for my official New Japan Pro Wrestling's Windy City Riot 2022 predictions. Jon Moxley versus the Commonwealth Kingpin Will Ospreay. First time ever. Later days, guys. And peace. The road to the NBA Finals start now.